Good evening and welcome back to 31 Horror Nights. It's October 9th and tonight's movie is Crimson Peak. This movie was directed by Guillermo del Toro, who also directed one of the most critically acclaimed movies of this entire millennium, Pan's Labyrinth. I've seen that movie and I liked it a lot. And while Crimson Peak is not quite as good, I still think it's pretty good. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. Far and away the best thing in Crimson Peak is the visuals. This movie is so beautiful. The colors, the angles, the shots, it's just every single frame looks like it had time and energy put into it to make it look great. I really liked the look of Pan's Labyrinth. I thought it looked great, but this movie is absolutely gorgeous. Crimson Peak is a period piece. I'd like to say the 1800s. I don't think it was like in the 20th century. And there's this woman in New York who meets this British guy, and they fall in love and they get married, and they go to live in his house in England with him and his sister. The husband is an inventor, and his current project is this mining operation. The house that he and his sister live in is built on this gigantic clay deposit, and this clay is bright red. And it gets in the water supply, it's everywhere, and because of that, the location was nicknamed Crimson Peak. They really play up that color. That color is in the water supply, it leaks out of the walls for whatever reason, and that's the color the blood is. It doesn't look like normal blood, it looks like hammer blood. It's just so bright red. The newlywed woman named Edith is enjoying her life, but weird stuff starts happening. She sees ghosts in that house. She also saw a few ghosts back at home, but it really starts happening when she goes to the house on Crimson Peak. The actual house, the mansion on Crimson Peak, is so beautiful. It's this big gothic building with just so many good angles. It's a beautiful place. You can also tell by the look of it that it's a callback to a lot of classic locations in horror movies like Hill House or Dracula's Castle. This place is so beautiful that it almost kind of works against the movie. It's so pretty that it's not even really creepy. Hill House from the 1963 movie The Haunting. That place was creepy, but the mansion on Crimson Peak is a little too beautiful and picturesque to really be that creepy. There's a lot of really, really good visuals in it. There's a hole in the roof in the main foyer, and leaves fall in or snow falls in, and there's a lot of beautiful shots of the foyer. It's this gigantic room with a bunch of levels. It looks like you're inside Hogwarts. It's really awesome. We also have the designs for the ghosts, and the ghosts I think were a pretty good design. They made it so that they're absolutely terrifying looking. They're not like normal people. They're like skeletons with flesh rotting off of them. If they got stabbed to death, they still have the knife in them. One of them had his skull cracked open, and there's a gigantic hole in his head. The ghosts definitely look horrifying. Overall, this movie absolutely killed it in the visual department. But there are other parts in which it was lacking. For example, this movie starts out really slowly. There is a really long stretch when they're in New York before they go to the mansion that's really not that interesting. I was just thinking, can we please get to the horror movie? And when we actually get to the mansion, things get better. But there is a lot of not really interesting stuff at the beginning of this movie. But things do pick up when we get to the mansion. And in the mansion, we get to see a lot more of the villain of this movie, the husband's sister, who's played by Jessica Chastain. She does a great job. She plays on that, like, totally insane, evil, but also, like, sort of down and just hard to read type of villain. When it comes to performances, Jessica Chastain steals the show with the villain. Overall, I think that Crimson Peak is worth watching just for the visuals. As a horror movie, it's not amazing, but I still think that it's worth a watch. Now let's start talking about some spoilers. Much like Pan's Labyrinth, the main source of conflict in the movie is not the paranormal type of stuff, it's the people in it. As it turns out, the brother and sister are both serial killers. They have brought in a bunch of different women. I think it was like, they implied it was 4 before this. All under the guise of her being the new wife for the brother. And they bring them in and they poison them and they kill them. And the ghosts in the house weren't actually trying to scare or hurt Edith. They were trying to warn her. They wanted her to get out of there or else she was going to die. Now, throughout the movie, the brother actually falls in love with Edith for real. So then there's this whole conflict not only between both of them and Edith, but also between the brother and the sister. In a fit of rage, she ends up stabbing the brother and killing him. And then it gets to a point where with Edith and the sister. They fight, and it's either kill or be killed. I was hoping that the ghosts would have more to do with their actual scheme. Like, they just kill people because of it, because they're both, like, psychopaths. Especially the sister. She is insane. But I don't know, I feel like they could play up the they kill people because they like it and they're insane type of thing, while also having a bit more of a reason for them to kill. Like, they established that the sister does not like being in the house alone, and I guess that makes sense, because all the ghosts in there would hate her. Now, what I was thinking that they were doing was that the ghost, like, keep, or something, like, maybe like a demon under the house is, like, demanding, like, sacrifices, and if they don't keep killing people, the demon is going to kill them. Now, they could have done that and still played up the they're both crazy type of thing. I was also hoping that either before the sister gets killed, or even right after, like, you see her spirit come out of her body, all the ghosts of the house in Crimson Peak start, like, attacking her and, like, dragging her into hell. I thought that would have been a really good, dark payoff for this entire movie, because when you go over all the terrible things they both do, but the sister especially, I think that would have been a better payoff than what they did, which was essentially just they both become ghosts and seem to just live in the house forever. I think I would have preferred if the ending was a bit more of supernatural vengeance on the behalf of the ghosts, all the people that they killed over the years. In conclusion, Crimson Peak is a pretty decent horror film, but an amazing work of art. I would definitely recommend watching it if you liked Pan's Labyrinth, but even as a horror movie on its own merits, it's still pretty good. I'll see you guys tomorrow.